Ramsey County prosecutors and Yanez's attorney also spoke out today.
Defense attorney Earl Gray says he is surprised that the jury didn't acquit Yanez sooner.
When you're this close to somebody, 3 feet away, 2 feet away, and a guy's pulling out a gun and he's not paying attention to your orders, as a law enforcement officer, you have one duty, and that's to save yourself.
I'm sorry that it didn't work out as the Castillo family would have liked, but the process, we can't control it other than the fact of just doing the best that we can. The defense does the best that they can, and it's a product of that adversarial system.
Castillo's girlfriend, Diamond Reynolds, broadcast the immediate aftermath of the shooting live on Facebook. Reynolds testified in court that Castillo was reaching for his wallet during the traffic stop in Falcon Heights. Officer Yanez told jurors he saw a gun in Castillo's pocket. Bill Hudson was in the courtroom from the very beginning, and he has reaction from a juror about how they got to today's acquittal.
Can we just ask you how difficult?
No questions.
You could clearly see the strain and fatigue in faces. The 12 men and women who'd been living ordinary lives until they'd sit in judgment of an extraordinary trial.
It was very, very draining.
Dennis Ploussard felt compelled to talk of the pains each juror felt, carefully weighing evidence and testimony over 5 days. It would take them 5 more to decide Officer Yanez's fate.
This was not taken lightly whatsoever. I mean, at the end, I was fed up, and I told all the jurors, I'm fed up. Let's just call it. Let's just call a hung jury.
Nearly all week long, the jury was deadlocked. 2 jurors struggled with discrepancies in the officer's initial statements and his later testimony.
I know that in both their minds, they thought that Yanez did not see a gun.
Ploussard says jurors sat with heads down and in total silence after they were finally discharged, knowing it would please some, anger others.
And that was one of the first questions I asked on Monday afternoon is, does anybody believe this is racial connected? And we all agreed it wasn't.
Finally, Ploussard believes Castillo only meant to show the officer his gun and the permit to carry it.
He had no intention to shoot the officer, not at all.
A terrible, fatal action. No verdict could ever change. Bill Hudson, WCCO 4 News.
In the end, jurors decided Officer Yanez was not culpably negligent. In other words, he responded just as any other reasonable officer would have under the same circumstances.
Stay with WCCO for continuing coverage. We'll have the very latest online at WCCO.com and on our morning news beginning at 8 a.m.